One of the complaints I often get from women who are unhappy in their relationship or while they are dating is, he doesn't value me. And sometimes as a person, sometimes he doesn't value the things she does for him. Sometimes women ask me, so how can I make him see my value? How can I make him see that I am a catch? Well, those are of course the wrong questions to ask, so let's talk about how to raise your value the right way. My real name is Geert, I am an author, I also go by the much more pronounceable pen name Brian Knox, and I write books about relationships for women. I also write about other topics like managing our more difficult emotions, and I love this notion of value because what you believe your value is will greatly influence the decisions you make, the choices in life, but also how people respond to you and how they treat you. And not just in your love life, of course. It will also influence whether you are getting some or perhaps none of what you want in life. So this is an important topic. First, let's look at why questions like, how can I make him see my value, are the wrong questions to ask. If you have ever asked yourself that question, and let's be honest here, most of us have tried to prove we were worthy to someone we were romantically interested in at some point in our life, then the problem is not that he's not seeing what a catch you are or how valuable you are. You are not seeing it at the moment that you ask that question. Now, the people that don't value us rarely are the ones we should be worrying about, unless they are good people, of course, that we are compatible with, but they cannot see our value because we forgot all about our own value and started acting like a doormat. And that's a disease I call doormatitis. You can catch it faster than you think. So here's the first big trap that can make you think you are lower value than you actually are. Picture a woman who has been focused on her career or perhaps her studies or watering the tropical plants in her bedroom because she's really into plants. Whatever, but not love. She hasn't been focusing on her love life or starting a relationship for quite some time. Maybe she had a painful breakup, maybe she has had it with relationships, so she's living the single life. And that's awesome, but there can be one tiny problem with this. If she's not dating, if she's not seeing anyone romantically, then her heart is going to start feeling lonely. For real. That's just unavoidable. Now, one night she goes to a party or a get-together, and not to meet a guy or anything, probably just admire the plants, so not to meet a guy, but she meets a guy. That's how it goes. The less you chase after something, the more it's just thrown in your lap. So there's an attractive guy thrown in her lap, and she starts to talk to him. What could be the harm in that? Well, suddenly that attractive guy says, "You have a really nice smile." She, totally unexpected, starts to blush a little bit and feels something she hasn't felt in ages. Now that guy is on a roll and gives her more attention and a compliment here and there, and that's the moment where her heart slowly starts to wake up and eventually screams, "What? Someone likes me? Someone attractive likes me? Someone is into me? Look, I know that I am into plants because they are generally more trustworthy than men and usually don't refuse to grow, but someone likes me? I forgot what this feels like. More! More! Yep, and just like that, her value in her own mind starts to drop. When the guy asks for her phone number, she blurts out, "Really? Why?" He says, "Well, so I can get to know you better and we can go out on a date." "Really? I'm your type, you wanna with me?" Whoa, yeah, that's really great. And if she's strong enough not to say this out loud, she's probably still thinking it. It feels good to get attention from a person we are really attracted to, doesn't it? And the better it feels, the harder it will be to see our own value then and to act like it. And the easier we will let someone else get away with bad behaviors. Doormatitis. So just be aware of this trap, especially if you have been single for a while. That's when it's most dangerous. The more we crave something like love or attention, the quicker we will lower our own value just to get it. And sometimes we're not aware of it. But also the more we will accept bad behavior or eventually do things that later on will make us cringe and think, "I can't believe I said or did that." Like the story of that woman. Mostly a true story, by the way. Even the plant thing, her bedroom apparently looked like a forest. She didn't even know how much she was craving this type of attention and love until a total but very attractive stranger gave her a sample and a reminder. She wasn't prepared for this. It's easy to know our value when we are not attached to the outcome or when we don't crave it. If you have a great job, for example, and a headhunter contacts you and you go to the job interview and they eventually make you an offer for a similar job like the one you are currently happy with, then it will be super easy to negotiate your salary, to eventually get really close to the maximum that that new company can afford to pay you, because you have nothing to lose. But if you have been out of work for months, yeah, then you may take the first offer that's available. So in order to feel valuable and be valued, we don't really have to work on the perception of other people. It's mostly an inside job. When we feel valuable, we will start to act like it and other people will see it. So the trick is to not accidentally drop our own value. And this happened a lot to me in my personal life when I was still in my 20s. I, at that time, still had a lot to learn about romantic relationships, for example, because I had first been focusing on other areas of my life. And at that time, I went into every relationship with my value high because in the beginning, I was not serious yet. But the more I started to like the girl I was with, the more I dropped my value. Dermatitis. And I remember one typical example. There once was a girl that I really liked to be with, and it was pure infatuation. So I was smitten, I was as blind as a mole, and I hadn't seen her for a couple of days because she never had time. Also known as very low interest level, another thing I was blind to. And then one night I had a fun party at work that I had really been looking forward to. So guess what night she asked me to meet up? Yeah, that night of course, and not in advance, but during the party. Hey, wanna meet up? So I did what every insane and very infatuated blind mole would do, and I immediately left the party, jumped into my car, and drove to our meeting spot. Quite hard to find as a blind mole, but eventually I got there. And that may seem like a very loving thing to do, but I was an idiot because that girl had not been treating me right, and I was teaching her how to treat me badly. We teach people what they can get away with through our actions, but she was not the problem. I was. I was unaware of my own value because of the infatuation. In the beginning of that very same relationship, I was quite standoffish. I was often the first one to say, okay, gotta go at the end of our dates, but then the hormones of love took over, dermatitis. So here too, as is often the case, we have to be emotionally intelligent. Regardless of what our feelings and especially the butterflies are telling us, we have to ask, okay, so what is the intelligent thing to do here? If I believe that I am valuable, then what would I do now? If you do that, other people can see your value. Had I told that girl, not tonight, I'm at a party, and I would have ignored my want to be with her now, right now, emotions, she would have seen a different value than the one I showed her by immediately jumping into my car. And it's not even about her. I would have felt so much better. In all honesty, I felt like an idiot after our date, after our meetup. She was in a bad and, as often was the case, uninterested mood, possibly also disappointed in the fact that I kinda looked like a grown-up, but clearly still had to grow a backbone. Plus, I had missed the rest of that party. And not because of her, but because of myself. So I learned a very important lesson that night. We raise our value from the inside out by answering the question, okay, so how would I respond here in this specific situation if I believed I was valuable? And then we do that. So simple, so silly, but this has a profound effect on how people respond to us, how we feel, and how great our life will be. Because we won't have to explain or prove our value to them. They will see it through our actions. They will see what they can get away with and what not. So don't blindly follow your emotions, and especially the stronger they are, the more you should question them because they could be blinding you, and they probably are. And there you go. I sincerely hope that you found a lot of value in this video. As always, if you want more, you can come on over to brianknux.com, or you can go to Amazon and type my pen name, Brian Knux, in the search bar. I want to thank you for watching until the very end of this video. I appreciate you for doing that, and I hope to see you in another video.